everyone, and I would like to welcome you to Meet the Buyer Procurement Forum. I am Dr. Porscha Jackson, Business Development Manager with the City of Houston's Office of Business Opportunity. We have a great webinar for you today called Accessing Capital for Procurement Opportunities. I am joined by Katherine Sobel from Peoplefund, LaShaunda Rene from TruFund, as well as Francisco Gonzalez from Liftfund. I want to encourage you to make sure you stop by their booths to ask some questions. But right now, they are each going to tell you a little bit about themselves, about their organization, and how you can access capital with their individual organizations. So we're going to dive right into it, and I'm going to have Katherine Sobel go first. So Katherine, welcome to Meet the Buyer, and the floor is yours.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can share my screen here. How's that? Can you see everything?
Yes.
Perfect. So
just in slideshow mode for us.
Okay. See if that'll do it.
Perfect.
How's that? Perfect. Well, hi everybody. I'm happy to be here, and thanks Porscha for inviting Peoplefund out to this webinar today. My name is Katherine Sobel. I'm the Senior Manager of Training and Education for Peoplefund. Peoplefund is a nonprofit community lender. We do small business loans and access to capital for maybe folks who can't access that from a bank. And so today I'm going to talk about some capital for procurement opportunities that you may be able to access from Peoplefund. And I'll go back one more slide. Throughout the webinar, you'll see some links on the green side of the screen. If you want to engage with us, if you want to learn more about Peoplefund, if you want to take us up on some business coaching, which I'll talk about later, please feel free to visit us at one of the links here or come stop by our table. So I'll first talk about some of the products that we offer for procurement opportunities or opportunities in general. And when I say products, I really want you to think about what you're doing when you are accessing capital. And so when you're buying something, you're either buying a product or a service. And when you're accessing capital in the financial sense, we say that we have financial products. So everything that I refer to is going to be called some kind of product, whether that's a business loan, a line of credit, anything like that, we're going to call them a financial product. And so here are the financial products that Peoplefund has for some procurement opportunities. And so I want to differentiate between startups or larger dollar projects and some of the products that we have that would provide operating capital for existing businesses or maybe smaller opportunities, because I think it's important to understand the type of capital that you need and what you need that for. So if you're a startup or a large looking for capital for a large dollar project, we have SBA loans. If you've never heard of the Small Business Administration, the Small Business Administration kind of governs or regulates small business. They've done a lot during COVID with disaster funding, but they do have loan products that you're able to access as well. And so the Small Business Administration, though they don't lend directly, they'll certify or prefer lenders on their behalf to lend money out for them. And so Peoplefund is a certified Small Business Administration lender. And if you're looking for anywhere between $50,000 and $250,000, we have what's called a microloan or a community advantage loan, just depending on the type of project. All of these loans have a 5 to 7 year payback term with a 3-month grace period. So once we give you the loan, you have 3 months until you have to actually start paying that back. With the Small Business Administration, they require us to do some technical assistance. What that means is that throughout the life of your loan, we have to visit you. And it's not a not fun visit. We want to come out and make sure that you're doing well and that we're providing all of the resources that we can to help you succeed. We also provide education, workshops, business coaching, things like that could be included in technical assistance. But if you are interested in getting some capital with some extra assistance, an SBA loan might be right for you. A term loan is similar, except for it's not regulated by the SBA. It's something that Peoplefund just puts out. It's our internal money. Very similar terms, 5 to 7 years, 50 to 250,000. Interest rates are very similar, but a little bit higher than what you might see on an SBA loan. We still have the 3-month grace period, and we still do some technical assistance there. So why do we differentiate between startups or operating capital for smaller projects or existing businesses? if you're a startup business and you're really looking to gain maybe some equipment, some inventory, some working capital, and you need that larger cash injection, these loans on the top half of the screen might be for you. If you're looking to finance a smaller project, or you might need some quick capital, because these SBA loans and these term loans, they take time. I mean, they take anywhere from 3 weeks to 3 months to get through the entire process and get funding into your hands. So if you're looking for maybe a smaller amount, or you're just needing some working capital as a quick injection for the time being, we have some other products that may help. The first is a flash fund. We call this our quick capital option. It's about a 5 to 7 day turnaround. It is a max 5-year term with up to $25,000, so much smaller than the $50,000 kind of startup period that you have here at the top. And the interest rates are very similar to our term loans. Then there's a line of credit. So if you can come to us and say, I have this purchase order, or I have this contract, and I don't have the funding to fund this now, we have lines of credit as an option. They are uniquely assessed. So we're going to look at everything from your business plan to what the opportunity offers you, how it's going to fare in the COVID climate, things like that. And then we can assess a line of credit. Typically, again, it's used for gap funding. So if you don't have the money to fund this purchase order or this project right now, we can provide that up front in a revolving type of line of credit that you can draw from as needed. The line of credit does mature, so it's not like a credit card where you can just keep taking and putting back for an infinite period of time. Typically, it's about a 4 to 5 year term there, and then very similar interest rates, but they do start a little lower at $1,000. If you look over on the right-hand side of our screen, we have programs. So if you're a veteran, or if it's a woman-owned business, we do have interest rate discounts for you. Veteran-owned businesses get a 5% interest rate, and that's for veterans or their spouses. And women-owned businesses get a 2% interest rate discount, so up to 100 grand. So anything up to 100 grand, if we quote you 8%, it would go down to 6%, and so that's how we do the discount. There are always fees associated with loans, lines of credit, or accessing capital. So just make sure at the time that you apply, you are asking what those fees are and if they can be rolled into the loan or if they have to be paid up front. Typically, they include administration costs or origination fees. So what are we looking at? What is Peoplefund assessing? What considerations do you need to kind of keep in mind? We're assessing everything from your experience to your credit to cash flow. We look at things like collateral, which is, do you have assets to secure the loan? During a lot of these opportunities, we hear, can I use a purchase order to secure the loan? Can I use this contract? And although we'll look at those as supporting documents, we definitely want to see those to support the request. We cannot take a contract or a purchase order as collateral. And so typically our loans have to be fully collateralized, meaning that you have to have enough money in assets to pledge in case you don't pay it back. Peoplefund could take those assets, sell off those assets, and then basically pay off the loan that way. With the Small Business Administration and with our flash funds, the collateral requirements are significantly reduced. So if you're looking for a flash fund, there's actually no collateral requirement. It's unsecured. If you're looking at an SBA loan, they will kind of meet you where you're at. So whatever collateral you have can typically work out. With the term loan and the line of credit, again, it's uniquely assessed. So if you want to talk with a lender, we can talk to you about what those options look like. If you're a startup business, this is important for startups. We actually classify a startup business as being in business 2 years or less. And if you're a startup, we require equity injection. Equity injection is the amount of money that you are committing to the project. And typically we either in a bank account or through receipts showing that you've already purchased some of these items or what you kind of need to get this started. Then of course, we're going to look at your business plan, really focusing in on capability statements, your resume, understanding the experience that you have to get this project completed, and then your COVID response. So we do want to understand how you're faring during this time and how you're responding in this climate. We look at supporting documents and we look at industry risk and competitiveness. For you personally, you want to make sure that you are considering the following. The first is choosing an appropriate source of capital for the job. So if you're a startup business, if you're an existing business and you're needing just a very quick injection of capital to fund your next project, to give you some working capital or cash flow in the meantime, a very large SBA loan is not necessarily right for you. And so there's so many different types of capital options out there. What we really want you to do is seek some counseling, maybe some business coaching or some assistance from one of our team members to understand what type of capital you should be applying for. And that may be with us and it may not be with us. It just depends on what you're needing at that time. We also want you to keep in mind that you need to keep good records, have a good strategy developed, and understand your own preferences as a consumer for choosing the right lender and the appropriate type of capital for you at that time. So ask a lot of questions. Definitely visit some of these links. We have free business coaching. So in terms of our next steps, it would be really to meet with the business coach or a team member, a lending team member, to see what type of capital we have. I'll just finish us out. I know I'm approaching my time here. I'll finish us out by just sharing a quick success story. So we have a client, RB Doors and Hardware. The business was founded in 2014 in McAllen, and they came to us really needing some money because they needed to buy inventory. They had just secured a contract to build all of the doors for the local Schlitterbahn. And so we really needed to be able to help them out. We were able to help them out, and they have fared very well through COVID and are thriving now. And so they ended up accessing an SBA loan with us, and they have since then accessed PPP funding, some disaster funding, and things like that. And so we're very proud to have them as a client. Thanks, everybody. If you'd like to contact our lending team or education team for assistance, I'm a great contact, but here are the people on the ground in Houston that are going to be really helpful. Cindy and Maricela are our loan team, and Rick is our education officer over in Houston. And so you're welcome to email them, call them, or access our links for some free coaching, check out our site, or apply for a loan. Thank you.
Thank you, Katherine. I really enjoyed the information that you shared and how you highlighted that you have specific availabilities for women and veterans, because a lot of times we have folks come in and say, what do you have for women business owners, or what do you have for veterans? And so thank you for highlighting that, so that these folks can see that and understand that information and make sure that they contact your team to access capital for their specific genres and who they are. So thank you again, and please stay on because we'll have some questions in just a little bit. And so I'm going to move right on along and move to TruFund. LaShaunda, Rene, and I'm going to turn over the floor to you.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Porscha. Let's see. Get my screen shared. All right, can you all see?
We see it.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Porscha, for having TruFund and for having me to join. I'm really happy to talk about being ready and resilient and being a capital ready contractor. So I'd love to connect with you and to know about your business and where you are and how you're doing, as well as what some of your capital or business education needs are. So here's a way to connect with me. I'd love to hear from you and get to know you as a business owner. And I'm LaShaunda Rene. I'm our Assistant Vice President and Managing Director for Texas. I'll also have the contact information for one of my Texas team members at the end of my presentation as well. About TruFund, we are a CDFI, a nonprofit entity that is certified by the U.S. Treasury. We are, which is a community development financial institution. We serve 4 primary states, including Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, and New York. We also serve several other states in the Southeast region. And we serve small businesses in 2 ways. We serve them by providing small business lending, as well as small business education and training. So I mentioned we serve in 2 ways, and one of those ways is through our lending. And so we have multiple products to support various types of small businesses, including women entrepreneurs with our RISE Loan Fund, as well as those who have been disaster impacted or COVID impacted. More specifically today, I'll talk a bit about our contractor financing that we have available. TruFund has had a long history of working with contractors across the nation, and we have a really great success rate of working with contractors and getting contractors connected to Opportunity and then funded to support those opportunities that they're able to procure. Additionally, we are also a 7A community advantage lender partnering with the SBA. We do offer those products up to $250,000, and all of our other products we go up to $350,000, with the exception of our new markets revolving loan product, which can go up to $1 million, and with some exceptions up to $2 million. And so those are very specific products, or excuse me, projects that are meant to support economic development in highly distressed areas. And so they tend to be for a little bit larger projects, which is why they are spanning from the 250 mark up to the 1 million and or 2 million, depending on the project. So here's an example of one of our contractor finance products that we offer. So we offer a contract mobilization loan product. And so the death valley of contracting is, yay, we've got a contract and now we've got to make it to that time period when we actually receive payment for that contract. And so our contractor mobilization loan is customized and tailored to support contractors who are in that death valley or about to approach that. So as we work with contractors who are bidding currently on contracts and or who have recently received contracts, we're then able to work specifically with individuals based on their project and really customize and tailor that product to them. But typically this is going to be a short-term product. It goes from 18 months up to 24 months depending on the project, and as little as 6 months, again, depending on the project. Interest rates will vary. As well, there's always a $250 application fee for all TruFund, the exception of our SBA product, which has a different fee. And so we'd be happy to discuss that process with you when you reach out to us. Additionally, we do require a 20% guarantee for all, a full guarantee, a personal guarantee for all owners who have at least a 20% stake in the business that's pursuing capital. And there's no repayment penalty. So if at any point you have decided that you would like to pay your loan out a little bit early, there's no penalty for doing that. So I mentioned, I've talked about some of our projects, and I'd love to share here a bit about our impact. So we were born out of the 9/11 tragedies in New York, supporting disaster impacted businesses. And since then, we have moved and evolved and grown into various other markets. And since that time, we have deployed over $160 million worth of small business loans as well. We have retained or created an additional 12,000 plus jobs. And as you can see, we're very strongly focused in our mission to serve entrepreneurs of color, to serve entrepreneurs who are women-owned businesses, as well as those who are located in low and moderate income communities. And as you can see, a significant portion, in fact, the majority of our loans do go to those communities. In Texas specifically, we're a little bit newer to the market. We officially opened and established a presence in 2019. And since then, we've made 106 loans to value at $1.3 million. And we've retained or supported the retention or creation of over 200 jobs. And as you can see, again, we're really, really focused on supporting women-owned businesses, entrepreneurs of color, and those in LMI communities. And you can see a significant concentration of our loans that we've made thus far have been to those communities. We were active participants in the PPP loan process, and so we look forward to continuing to serve the Texas market. I mentioned again that we serve in two ways: small business lending as well as business education. And so we have several programs that really are complementary to the lending that we offer, including a program for women entrepreneurs, including a program for those who have been disaster impacted and or want to be prepared for the next disaster, be it a natural disaster, a pandemic, or the illness of an owner. As well, we have a contractor education program that is specifically tailored to support small, minority, and women-owned contractors who are really looking to understand what does it mean to be a successful contractor, what are the tools and resources that they need to have, and how do they go about taking advantage of the opportunities and identifying where the opportunities are in the market. And so that's a really wonderful and successful program that we have had for several years, and we like to think that our coupling of technical assistance and capacity building as well as capital is really the secret sauce to being able to support small businesses in their growth, in particular contractors, in really growing their business by either procuring larger contracts or being able to support multiple contracts. So we are able to do that with both the education and the capital that we provide. I mentioned the contractor education program specifically, as well as the product that we offer to support mobilization. And as you can see, we've supported the value of, we've deployed over $36 million through that product to support contractors, which has resulted in over 2,000 jobs being retained and or created. And so again, this has been a great opportunity for us to support MWBE contractors to be able to access millions of dollars in contracts with municipalities, with states, with other government entities, as well as corporate entities and other private entities as well. Here's an example of someone who's been a wonderful success story for TruFund, and we're so happy to be a part of his story. Rufino's Painting and Construction is a small business that we have worked with for many years, and he's actually been such a success that he's outgrown the need for TruFund, which we find to be our greatest accomplishment when we small business from needing our support because they can't access capital through a traditional financial institution, but then be able to outgrow us and then go on to be able to access capital through a traditional financial institution like a bank. And Rufino is an example of that. And as you can see, he was able to access nearly $1 million in loans, which supported over $3 million in contracts that he was able to secure. And that was as of a couple of years ago, since he outgrew TruFund. So we should actually get an update on him, and I'm sure that he has doubled or tripled the number of contracts that he has continued to receive as we've seen him to really grow and prosper. And so he's an example of what's possible when you couple business education and access to capital for contractors, which is a specialty of TruFund. When we talk about being capital ready as a contractor, there are several characteristics or factors that we're looking at. So we are looking at your credit. Your score, we typically are looking at a score of about 600. In the COVID environment, we're looking at credit a little bit differently, and we're really wanting to understand what's impacting your credit. So being transparent about what's on your credit score, being able to articulate why something is or isn't there, really helps us to make a good assessment about whether or not you can handle this additional debt that you are pursuing. Working with a reputable and reliable prime entity or corporate entity really helps to mitigate the risk that's associated with the very risky contracting business. And so being able to have those relationships with those entities and also be able to work with those entities to be able to get an assignable contract, which you also see here, is really, really important. And that helps to almost act as collateral for your loan that you might be taking out as a contractor. We're also looking for contractors who are experienced. So you have a list of completed projects that you've done, you have work in progress, you have some sort of way to demonstrate that this isn't the first time you've had this type of contract and that you have the capacity to take it on. As well, we're a lending institution, and so we need to have access to your business and financial documents. So being able to provide that when we've asked for it and to really sit down with us so that we can look through it and talk through it is really important and critical to helping support the underwriting process, which is the process for your loan. The fact that you understand your contract and have that available and can really talk through with your loan officer what the terms and conditions are of your contract also really helps you to be more capital ready, and for our lending team and our credit team to really be able to understand how to best structure your loan, because we do tailor each of our contractor loans to really support and connect with the terms and conditions of the contract that is at hand. Having collateral available is also a great opportunity or characteristic, and that helps us to maybe secure a higher amount and or depending on the situation to be able to be approved. As well, being able to be insured prior to closing, we will expect that you have the adequate insurance to cover your business. And of course, positive cash flow. So you may have really great revenue, but if you have as substantial expenses or even more substantial expenses than your capital that is coming in or your revenue that's coming in, then that might be that you have a negative cash flow and that you can't necessarily demonstrate that you can take on new debt. And so our goal is not to create a new burden for you, but to create an opportunity. And we can do that when you're able to demonstrate that you have a positive cash flow. So here are some of the mistakes that contractors and others make when they're accessing capital: not providing a complete loan application, having credit challenges that aren't disclosed and or that aren't able to be addressed, having insufficient documentation, so not having financial documents or not having tax documents or not having other business documentation available really can be a challenge when we're trying to support a loan request. As well, when you think about taxes and you've been, let's say, trying to reduce your tax liability for, 1 year or many years, and then you're coming to access capital, it's very difficult for your loan officer to be able to advocate for your loan application, because it's hard for that individual to be able to say that you have sufficient cash flow and sufficient revenue to support a new debt. And then not having a business plan and use or projections available. And this is in particular critical when you are a startup business or this is a contract or type of project that you don't necessarily have as much experience in. It's really just being able to come to the table and articulate who you are as an entrepreneur, how you generate business revenue, what are the contract terms and of the contract, as well as your role on the project. Really being clear about what you plan to use the dollars for that you're taking out, and then also being able to speak to the impact of COVID on your business and your plan to really navigate this new and unsure and very volatile business environment that COVID-19 has created. So if you can come to the table with your application and explain these things and be able to articulate them to your loan officer, you then arm your loan officer to be able to go back to their credit team and say, okay, here's a business that has this much experience. This is not a new type of work that they've done before. They're working with a reputable organization, and these are the terms of the contract. This is how I think we should structure the loan to support their need. That really helps your loan officer to really go out and advocate for you. And so being a capital ready contractor is really being able to do that. Give your loan officer the tools that they need to then go to their team and advocate for you. So here are some examples of documentation that we do require from small businesses, including contractors. So I mentioned several things related to your business documents and your taxes, but we also need things like bank statements and your financial statements. Depending on what time of year, we also might need interim financial statements. So just really being clear about what documentation is needed and coming to the table with as much of it as possible. And if you don't have it, working with and keeping the lines of communication open with your loan officer really helps to expedite the process and to be able to ensure that you're getting closer and closer to a yes. Thank you so much for having me. This is my colleague, Jessica Whittington. She's our team member in Texas that you can reach out to if you have any questions about participating in any of the programs that we have, as well as any of the lending products that we have for contractors or for other types of small businesses. Thank you.
Thank you, LaShaunda. That was a wealth of information. And what I'm seeing already in the trend is for everyone to really understand is not just about asking for the funds, but it's about having that education on how to appropriately use those funds. And thank you, LaShaunda, for even pointing out and profiling the characteristics of a capital ready business owner who's looking for that, because there's so many things and misconceptions that go, just spread around as far as accessing capital. And you laid it out, the characteristics that you need to access this capital and how TruFund helps certified firms and women businesses to procure that, to secure their capital, to seek after and take advantage of procurement opportunities. And that's what this is all about here at Meet the Buyer. So I'm going to bring in Francisco Gonzalez from Liftfund. So Francisco, how are you doing today?
I'm doing excellent. I'm not sure should I share my presentation because these two ladies, they kill it. Oh my gosh. Let me share my presentation, okay?
Go ahead, share your presentation and the floor is yours.
Thank you. Okay. Can you see it?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. So my name is Francisco Gonzalez. I'm one of the business development officer here in Houston for Liftfund. I've been in this industry for over 18 years. So what is our mission in Liftfund? So our mission is to provide credit and services to small businesses and entrepreneurs who don't have access to loans from commercial sources, and to provide leadership and innovation to micro-lending industry. For example, if you want to establish your business and you're looking for lending, if you go to a traditional bank, most of the time the traditional banks want to see at least 3 years of tax return. So you ask yourself, where can I go? That's why there is a financial institution like Peoplefund, TruFund, and Liftfund. We call a community development financial institution, and we help startup businesses. Okay, so it's very important that we have Peoplefund and TruFund in this beautiful webinar. How do we achieve our mission? Basically, what we do here in Liftfund, we help to market. Okay, we help startup businesses. Okay, and established businesses that for any reason they're not able to get cash, or they're not able to get lending from traditional banks. And our loan range is between $500 to $500,000. Okay, we help you, we teach you. Okay, we provide seminars, we provide education. Okay, we have a lot of partners with different financial institutions like Wells Fargo, Capital One, Chase, Bank, and we create programs so you can, if you're a new business owner, you would like to understand the financial statements, the bank statements, the marketing. So besides of lending, we also provide a technical assistant. Who do we serve? Basically, we serve all the industries except entertainment, okay? But we love restaurants, we love food trucks, we love constructions, hotel, motel, gas station, okay? And also our FICO score, we can start lending from 590 and up. But I want to mention this, and I want to let you know that we base our final decision on the 5 C's of credit. Okay, the 5 C's of credit are character, capacity, capital, collateral, and condition. Again, we base our decision on the 5 C's of credit, which is character, capacity, capital, collateral, and condition. If you're a new business owner, no one is going to give you the 100% of what you're asking for. All the financial institutions, they want to see some skin in the game. Okay, we want to see how you can bring to the table, in other terms. So basically, if you're asking me for $50,000, probably I'm gonna ask you, you know what? I'm not able to give you the 50, only 40, but you have to show me that you have at least $10,000, and you have to bring this to the table so we can complete the deal. I didn't put a slide of interest rate because this is very important. Where you're coming to talk to us, every loan is different. A lot of people, when they see an interest rate, they think like, okay, it's between 8 to 10% or between 8 to 12%. but sometimes we had to review your financial statements. We had to review your FICO score. We had to sit down and you had to tell me everything. It's very important that if you're a startup business owner, if you're a new startup, you had to tell, the first conversation is the key. You had to tell everything. You know what? I have 620, probably I have some late payments. You had to tell everything to the business development or to the loan officer, okay? So we can structure the loan. It's very important. We have to structure the loan. This is a team between yourself and the financial institution. So it's very important that you come in and you have to tell everything that you have on table, everything that you can, for example, if you have collateral, a lot of people, sometimes they don't understand what is collateral. So you have to ask all the questions, okay? And Liftfund, for us, all our lending is secured by a collateral. For example, if you want $40,000, we're going to ask you for collateral. For example, it can be a food truck, okay? Or it can be, or we take a personal collateral to, for example, your personal car is free and clear. We can take your personal car and we can help you. We can give you the loan against your personal car, but of course, again, we had to base the decision on the 5 C's of credit, okay? Move forward, okay? So what, this is our impact that Liftfund been doing in 2000 and last year in 2019. So this is the total number that we did, the total loan numbers, 19,130. How much we put on the community, you can see that. We have two departments. We have micro lending and large loans. On large loan, we can go up to $2 million on real estate deals, okay, up to 2 millions, but it's a real estate, okay. And we do micro lending between $500 to $500,000, okay. So you can give me a call and we can talk about it, okay. So what is the next step? It's very important that you can ask questions. It's very important that you have to show us your business plan, your budget. What do you have in mind? If you want to expand your business, how you can expand your business, and what is the tool that you're going to use in order to expand your business? If you're looking for lending, a lot of people ask me, Francisco, I need money, and I say, how much are you looking for? I don't know. You have to let me know. So I'm like, no, I want you that if you're a business owner, you must know your budget per month, your budget per year, how many employees you need for specific works. So it's very important that you can, all the questions that you have, we have Katherine, we have LaShaunda. It's very important that you can approach us and ask these questions, okay? And this is my team here in Houston. Anthony Lopez, he's a senior business development, and myself, Michael Coulter, he's the one who does the loans between $250,000 to $500,000, and we have Leticia, that is the one who does that can do the deals up to $2 million. Okay. And this is our information. I will forward this presentation to Dr. Porscha. Okay, and that's it.
Well, thank you, Francisco, and stressing the importance of the 5 C's of credit. And let me just commend the panel. I had some questions to ask y'all, and your presentation hit all of the questions and answered all the questions. And so you guys are just on fire. And so I just really want to encourage everyone, if you have specific questions, you have the information. They gave you all the information. Now it's time to their virtual booths and ask specific questions as related to your business. Before the panel goes, I know they're busy. I just want to ask a question. So we're here at Meet the Buyer. It's 2020. We know this has been an incredible year, and you all have touched on the how things have kind of changed as far as accessing capital with COVID in mind, but relationships are important. And we know that you all have business education provided for those who are seeking funding from you, in which, again, I want everyone to realize that if a loan company or a capital lending organization has business education programs, that means they care. And for our certified firms, they really care, and they're all about you succeeding and moving forward in this process. But relationship building is extremely important. So how do they build relationships with you all in this virtual environment where they can't come and visit and have a face-to-face conversation? How does that look like? How do we procure virtually? How do we build those relationships virtually? Anyone can answer.
Old-fashioned phone calls work, Porscha. So picking up the phone and giving a call is a great way to make that contact, sending out an email. You know, there's still lots of ways that we can continue to connect and get to know each other and build relationships. And we've been doing it all of 2020 at this point now, right? So it's been a wonderful thing to be able to leverage technology, but some of those old-fashioned things like just picking up the phone work really well.
They do. And I would also say follow us on Instagram, Facebook, connect with me on LinkedIn. I want to chat with you, but I need to know who you are, and I need you to get to me first. And we get a lot of calls. I answer calls all day long. We're happy to pick up the phone and talk. Sometimes it's easier on the Peoplefund side if we can schedule that conversation, especially knowing these conversations can last 2 hours. When you're passionate about your business and I'm passionate about helping you, we can talk and talk and talk, and it may never end. So please connect with us on our social sites as well.
And like I say, social media is one channel, fun. I love it. The thing on the phone is because I have a lot of accent when I speak. Sometimes they don't understand when I say something. So right now we have, we work in the office, and there's some customer that they want to see, they want to speak face to face. So we invite him, but there's only one customer that we can allow in the office. But absolutely, I mean, I'm available on my social media and also in LinkedIn and over the phone. And also, I mean, this is beautiful. The Microsoft team, the Zoom calls. So absolutely, it's like I can see you face to face.
Excellent, excellent. So again, you have all the information, and the beauty of this virtual environment or this virtual world that we're in, you have this webinar, but you can also save this. So there's a lot of information. If you want to go back, you have that available, and that's at your fingertips. So again, we thank you for attending Meet the Buyer. Absolutely, thank you, panelists. You all set it on fire today and let everyone know how to access capital for procurement opportunities, which they are here to look for here at Meet the Buyer. So everyone enjoy Meet the Buyer. Make sure you go to the virtual booths and speak to them. Start that relationship building now, and you know you can find them on social media. You can always pick up that phone and call and set up a Zoom call as well to see them face to face. So thank you everyone for joining this panel, and thank you all for attending Meet the Buyer. We'll see ya.